Hey there, YouTube. Today I thought I'd give a quick review of the books 1 Second After and 1 Year After by William R. Forstchen. I hope I'm saying that right. Um, the first book is about what happens. Basically, there was an EMP attack on the United States and a good portion of the, I guess, populated world. I think Europe is about the only one that doesn't get hit. This first world country, I don't know. I don't think any of the third world countries are really hit. Um, and then basically the events that follow that, kind of the breakdown of society, and then basically one community's rebuilding during and after this, which kind of all leads up to kind of a climax at the end of the book. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. Um, what I really liked about it is it doesn't really talk about having stuff already or having preps already. It was really a community, they weren't prepared for this in any way, shape, or form, and they had to go out and find what they needed and find the resources that they needed. It also talks a lot about like the management of that community. There are a few things that go on that you may or may not agree with. I know I would have a hard time coming to terms with the fact that they come up with a community rationing system where everybody in the community, basically all the food goes to the community and then they ration it out. And to me, that's a really scary system just because it has so much potential for corruption. But they manage it very well in the book, and it does give a lot of good ideas on what could be done or what needs to be done. So there's a lot to take away from it, even if you don't necessarily agree with how they went about it. There's only like one family that in the book that even actually had preps ahead of time, and they're really more of a footnote than they are like the main part of the story. The main character is actually a historian, and he knows a lot about the old Civil War and about the Civil War and stuff like that. Um, the other thing I really liked about these is that they don't really glorify the having all the right gear. Again, they talk about having to go out and find what they needed. In the second book, they set up a telephone system, and they basically had to salvage stuff from museums because they just like the knowledge wasn't there to rebuild these items, and they talk about just a lot of stuff about that. The 1 year after covers obviously a year after the first book, and the community is more set up and more, I guess, going. And what happens is there's basically the United States government is trying to come back and try to reassert itself and reunify the nation, and it's that goes about as well as you'd expect. There's some corrupt politicians and things that happen with corrupt politicians. Like I said, with the earlier system, there's a lot of room for corruption, and the federal government tries to do more or less what the community did. But being the federal government, they tend to not know what is needed and send the wrong things. It's kind of a known story. There is a battle again at the end of this book it's pretty good, and they do it again. It's a lot more of the like interpersonal dealings with people, like dealing with like there's a local raiding group they end up dealing with, and they do it in a refreshing way as opposed to just going and shooting them. So if you like this kind of book, you like prepping style books, and you're kind of tired of the ones that really glorify the guy that already had all his stuff in place and was thinking ahead and needed, and also how people would deal with it that weren't preppers in the first place, I'd say pick these books up. They're both really good reads. I don't have the other one with me here because I borrowed it from a friend and gave it back to him, but I can't recommend them enough. So if you have any questions about these books, or if you found this video helpful or informative, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will have a link to both these books down in the description. Thanks.